Hello, my name is Philip Bloom, and for the past 5 days I've been road testing this, the brand new BMW EX3. Now there are a number of key differences between this camera and the EX1, and I'm going to show you what they are. Straight off you'll see a difference in shape. What you have here is a wedge very reminiscent of the Canon XL. It's like the Canon XL has mated with an EX1 and created this, the EX3. The reason behind it is it fits into your shoulder and you can actually use it like a proper camera. So much better for handheld rather than having it out here like an EX1 style camera, which takes all the weight in the wrist and makes it very difficult to use handheld. You probably noticed the other big difference straight away. The viewfinder at the back has now gone. I never used that because I thought it was too low resolution for critical focusing, so I always use the LCD screen. So what we have now is a proper viewfinder, which is basically a hybrid of the LCD screen with a viewfinder attachment. I'll show you some more detail. Proper peaking, proper contrast, proper brightness controls. We also have a mirror image option which flips the image within the viewfinder. It doesn't flip it in the camera, it's just a viewfinder, but it's a great little addition. You've also got your display button there and the zebra button there. So let me show you what they've done. It's got the same LCD screen as before, but it doesn't flip underneath anymore. It's solid, and this is as much as it will move. And what they've made is a viewfinder attachment, which just clips on the top here, folds down, and just goes over the LCD, which gives you a fantastically sharp image. And if you just want to use the LCD screen and not the viewfinder, you can just flip it up, and away you go. Number 3 on the big changes is they have made the lens removable. A fantastic addition to this camera. Now it may look like there's a big gaping hole there, but with their 1/2-inch adapter which fits on there, you can use standard 1/2-inch glass like I have on my XD-Cam F350, which gives you a whole world of options, proper long lenses, proper wide angles. Really, really lovely feature. And you can also use 2/3-inch lenses with a 2/3-inch to 1/2-inch adapter, which again opens up an enormous array of different types of glass you can put on this camera. So let's work our way around the camera from the front to the back and then to the side to show you all the different things between this and the EX1. First off, on the lens, pretty much the same as before, except you now have the steady shot up here instead of being in menus. Very nice little feature. The ND is exactly the same as before. It's a shame they haven't improved on that, but it works fine. It does get stuck in between occasionally, but you get used to it. You now have the menu down here. You have the select button here. You have your bars down next to your white balance and the gain. You now have the camera media switch on the front instead of on the back. It's the same design as before. Still quite fiddly to use. You keep accidentally putting it into media or into camera when you want to turn it off, but you get used to it. When I saw this next feature, I was amazed because I didn't expect it to come on this camera. It's not something I would have thought about coming on a new EX3. But what they've done is they've moved the variable frame rates from within the menus to outside of the camera. This is fantastic because I use slow and quick motion a lot. So all you need to do is put your finger on the button here. It lights up blue and you're now in variable frame rate mode. You can dial in the different frame rates to what you want. So if you're in 1080p mode, you can put in between 1 and 30. If you're in 720p mode, you can put it in from 1 to 60. And then when I turn it off, it goes off. Unfortunately, you can't do any VariCam style ramping. You can only change the speed when it's out of record mode, but it's still a really great little addition to this camera. We have a slightly redesigned S/S slot. As you can see, it now opens up and across like before. And if you look closely, you'll see there is a little gully here with a thing that pushes in. The reason is that's designed for the new EX hard drive which is coming out, which is basically going to be an S/S adapter which goes in there. A cable will run out of here and fit onto the back of the cold shoe adapter. What that will give you is 4 hours of recording in HQ mode. Now it's a shame they didn't bring out something with a much bigger hard drive. Would have been much more useful, but it's still pretty good, especially since you can use it as a backup device now on the road. You don't have to get a computer out. You put the card that you want to back up into slot A, you have the hard drive into B, you go into media mode and you just copy all the stuff from A to B. And because it's part of the camera, you can then look at slot B, which is the hard drive, in the viewfinder or LCD screen and check that it's all there. Much safer than just backing it up blind. Here we have the audio dials, which are actually covered up now, which is much better because the EX1 they were exposed and it was very easy to knock them accidentally. Simple little thing, but I love it. Now if we move around to the back, we have a few different connections. The HDV now has moved. We have the HD SDI is up here. We now have a new gen lock in, time code in, time code out, and here, which is remote lens. That gives you iris control for studio for your lenses. Great for low budget studio work. On the side, we have a change too. We now have DC in, we now have monitor out, which is actually a BNC connection, which is far better than before, and an S-Video dedicated one. Underneath here, as you can see, we now have 2 phono sockets, much better for audio out. We have the same component out socket there, and our USB is there. One of the best things I discovered when I first started using small cameras was the whole 35mm lens adapter market. The Redrock M2, the SG Pro, the Brevis and Elite Extreme, as well as many others. The great thing about it is it just gives you the whole flexibility of using 35mm lenses. Now I've used the Elite Extreme on the EX1 successfully for quite a while now. So if, like me, you're already using it and you move to an EX3, can you still use it? And yeah, the answer is absolutely true. You just still fit it straight onto the stock lens like I have here. You need to have some good lens support system like the Zacuto one here. Ideally, you'd want to put a relay on here to remove the stock lens, but it works just fine, just like this. So yeah, if you've got an EX1 and you move up to the EX3, it'll work exactly the same. You don't have to change anything. So now you know the differences between the EX1 and the EX3. So why would you want to buy this camera over this camera? Or if you've already got this one, why would you want to upgrade to the EX3? Well, it really depends on what you use it for, because this EX1 is a beautiful camera. I use it almost every day and I love what I get out of it. The lens is superb. The LCD screen is superb. I have a shoulder mount which I bought off eBay for £20 and it goes on here and fits on and I get beautiful handheld work. It's still a fantastic camera. But this is leaps and bounds over the EX1. Yeah, okay, shoulder mount is a nice feature, but nothing new. We've seen it in the Canon XL series, but it's new to the Sony line and it's new to the XD cam line. It makes it so much better. The viewfinder is the best viewfinder I've ever used on a small camera. It is beautiful, it is sharp, you can get critical focus, even with 35mm film adapters. The removable lenses is amazing. To be able to put on really long glass, really wide lenses opens up a world of possibilities. I own an f350. I own a really nice piece of glass, which costs more than this camera. I could get some beautiful long lens stuff, which I couldn't get with this 14 times lens. For me, that makes it fantastic. And then you can put on 2/3 inch glass as well. That is crazy on a camera like this. Viewfinder, lens, shoulder mount, all of this. It is a beautiful, beautiful camera and I think really quite revolutionary. And as soon as I can get one and sell my EX1, I will.